Hello, party people, and welcome to another episode of Right Now, a show where I get to have fun writing with people. That's pretty much all it is. It's not anything special. But it's always a good time. Today, my guest is Matt Schofield.
Hello, it's Schofield actually, but
Schofield?
yeah, no big deal.
I wouldn't know unless you corrected me. So
exactly. You've never heard it spoken, so it's understandable.
The spoken word changes everything.
Yeah, right.
So
Exactly.
Matt has a very cool campaign that he wants to share with us, and I believe he dropped it in the chat. So I'm gonna do the thing that I need to do to get it going. Hit all the buttons. So tell us what it is called, Matt.
It's called Steamroller Man, and my campaign is for. I've been doing this as a webcomic since 2018 and putting it online, and so this is. But I've always written and drawn it with a view to printing it. So I have each chapter is issue 1, issue 2, etc. So this is for printing issue 1, which is a 40-page story, and it's basically it's a comedy superhero story about a guy who has a huge head and his power is basically demolishing things, and so it's just sort of like exploring the comedic implications of a guy who can't really hide his identity because of his head size and unique shape of his head. Even though he tries with a pair of giant glasses, like Clark Kent, and you know the implications of a guy who thinks he's helping, but when your power is just destroying things, you tend to cause more trouble than you solve. And so it's the story in the first issue is a villain called Sugar Daddy creates a giant gingerbread golem, like basically a golem made out of gingerbread, and he uses that to help him break into a biochemical research facility.
Sorry, I ran away really quick because I locked my wife outside.
Oh yeah, no worries.
It happens from all time. I want to say from time to time, but it happens every time.
Oh.
But anyway,
Oh, no.
I heard Sugar Daddy and Gollum.
Yep, gingerbread. So Sugar Daddy is like a candy themed villain.
Very fun.
And he is what I call a candy mancer. He is adept in the occult art of confectionery, and so he uses his skills to create a magical brings to life a giant gingerbread man and makes him into a golem from Jewish folklore. The golem was a creature created out of clay who had a word of power on his chest, and so Sugar Daddy creates one of those big conversation heart type candies that goes on his chest that says obey, and that's the word of power, and that binds the golem to Sugar Daddy's will. And so he uses the golem as like the muscle to break into a biochemical research facility and steal a sample that's in canister D, can D for short, and for nefarious purposes that will come to light in successive issues. And Steamroller Man tries to stop him. And so that's basically the story and the concept of Steamroller Man.
I love the covers that you have, especially I love the
thank you
cover.
Yeah, I was very fortunate to get some amazing artists who are all friends of mine to contribute variant covers for the campaign. And
know what he reminds me of? He reminds me of French is it? I don't really remember his name, but like French Toast Man from Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, Powdered Toast Man.
Powdered Toast Man. That's who
Yeah.
he reminds me of.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a flavor of that.
No pun intended.
No, yeah, no, that was. I mean, I'm all about puns.
I could tell.
The comic is full of puns because I love puns, and this is basically.
It's a good time, is what it looks like.
Yeah, it's fun. I try and put a joke on every page. If not a joke, then at least something that will kind of make you smile. Yeah, it's just me having fun. I started this as a way to just relax after work, and it kind of grew as I started getting more into it. I was like, oh, I could really do something with this. So
you know what I love about Sugar Daddy? He's giving me big Hugo Strange vibes.
Right.
So I love villains.
With the goatee.
I love villains that don't challenge a hero directly, but they create situations that challenge the hero. You know?
Yeah.
So he's giving this I'm creating life to destroy all these things, but it's ridiculous, and it's so,
right.
I was in an anthology called Torso Bear, which was very cool. It was like a fictional play world with toys and it was like a Candyland type of thing, but it was dark, so it was like Sin City.
Oh, cool.
And it kind of went right over my head that making a golem out of candy would have been brilliant for that, but it works very well here too. So candy comic books are always a good time, especially when you put a dark spin on them.
Yeah, he's kind of like a evil Willy Wonka type character.
That's a great one.
Is the best way to describe him.
My daughter is currently obsessed with Wonka.
Oh, nice. Because of the recent movie, right?
We listened to the entire soundtrack today in the car ride.
Oh, that's cool.
All like 45 minutes of it. But
so was that good or not so good for you?
Some songs are good, so I don't mind it. So it's hit or miss. But she's big on
cool.
Now. She loved the Mean Girls musical too.
Wow, yeah, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen the original movie either. So
it's a classic. I mean,
but I do love musicals.
But so what is the campaign actually for? It's for one book, right?
It's for the first issue, which is a 40-page black and white comic book with a color cover.
You got tons of pages here, I see.
Yeah, since it's 40 pages, I put the first 10 pages of the story as a preview on the Kickstarter page, because I thought, well, there's still 30 pages that the audience hasn't seen, so 10 pages is, and also it's a slow burn at the beginning of the story where you don't even see Steamroller Man until like 5 pages in, I think. So
well, I wouldn't call it a slow burn, because you got the birth of the golem here, and I think so you're starting right away with the threat, which I think if there's no action, you create tension at the first page, because you see this villain doing something villainous, so it immediately gives some sort of challenge. Even if we haven't met the hero, it gives him a challenge that we know he's going to need to overcome.
Yeah, that structure was really influenced by the Batman 60s TV show, which I'm a big fan of. And the structure of those episodes would always be like, it would start off with, in the Gotham Museum of Antiquity, a stately gala is occurring. And then the villain would appear first. And then it would be cross to Commissioner Gordon's office, picking up the bat phone, and then Batman comes into the story. It would never start with Batman, and that also has the tongue-in-cheek comedic superhero vibe that I really love, and so that was a big influence on Steamroller Man too.
They say if you want to really build a great title, you just have it for free. You build an audience, you give it, and then you go to a product. So you're doing it the right way. Everyone wants it now. They want to put out their book, but it's time.
I mean, I'm so, as a fellow comic creator, you would know that personally, I've learned that making comics is like one of the slowest ways to tell a story. because
Can be.
you know
Yeah.
you come up with the idea, then you write it, then you pencil it, and then you ink it, and then you letter it, and then you color it. So there's so many stages to get to a finished product. It takes time.
Yeah, it's weird. I say being a comic creator, you kind of like Dr. Manhattan in that you live in all aspects of time at the same time.
Oh, that's a cool analogy.
Because
I love that.
I'm writing a book that's going to be out later, but I'm lettering a book that's going to be out soon. I'm getting art for another book, so I'm like existing in all these different time slots.
Right.
In production.
Yeah.
So do you see the you got the Google Doc? You can see what
I do. Let me pull it up and get it on my screen so I can work on it. Okay.
Just throw a little something.
Okay, so let me. Yeah. Okay.
Hello. So for those who haven't seen an episode of Right Now, format is very simple. Matt and I are going to write a short story together. We have not planned this. It's going to be kind of short story from scratch, and we're going to alternate. So I'm going to start off with a sentence. He's going to follow with another sentence, and so on and so forth until we are done. And every episode has a theme. I actually wrote games when I scheduled this, but I'm not going to do that because it's my show. I get to make the rules. We're going to do, in honor of Steamroller Man, we are going to do construction.
Okay. Interesting.
Can I change the name? Let's see if I can do that. I know what? I don't really care. It's going to say games, but we're doing construction. So I was going to do construction vehicles, but then I figured that would be too hard.
Right.
We couldn't get them in construction.
That's pretty narrow.
It is pretty narrow. So if construction is the theme, it has to be some construction related, I don't know, device or vehicle or item. I'm going to try to do vehicles because that was my ultimate goal. But if I need to use a nail or a hammer, I'm going to keep it in
All right.
That
sounds interesting.
So, you ready to go, Matt? Any questions?
So you're going to do the first sentence, and then I do the second, and then we just alternate each sentence. Is that correct?
Yeah, we're going to alternate.
All right,
and then at the end, I will give you a warning, and then we'll have 3 sentences each as we try to wrap things up.
I should let you know I'm not a trained touch typist. I'm just a 2-finger hunt and peck. I can do it pretty quick, but I may have to use the backspace key and correct some typos.
That will make it interesting. I could always edit you as we go.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Claudia, I'm starting with somebody showing up to a construction site.
Okay.
And I'm starting with Claudia because I figure I need a girl. Because if I start with a boy, it would be too cliche. So Claudia showed up to the construction site and immediately put on her hard hat. So I always like to, I think setting is important when we do this. Like if we were doing a beach episode, we had to go to the beach. I did a plant episode in the botanical gardens. So I think construction site will give us plenty of opportunity to play around with some construction stuff.
Okay, cool. So I can do my sentence?
You can do your sentence. It's wide open. We don't know who Claudia is, why she's there, how old she is. We don't know anything.
Okay.
But she's at a construction site. She looked around and leaving me in suspense. Saw none of her usual crew. Okay. We will qualify crew as your construction element there.
Yes. Every sentence has to have a construction?
Every sentence, yes.
Oh, God. Okay.
That's the name. That's what makes it fun.
Okay.
We get to torture people. And you know what? It makes you think. Because you got to keep the story moving, but you have to use something at the same time.
Okay.
I always feel like I get a leg up on people because I've done this like a dozen times already.
Okay.
But we'll have fun with it. So let's see. Let's get some inciting incidents going. Let's get the ball rolling. So Claudia
All right.
showed up to the construction site and immediately put on her hard hat. She looked around and saw none of her usual crew. All right, we're going to get some danger. Help! Shouted a voice. And Claudia... I already forgot how to spell her name. Yeah, that's not how you spell her. But thank God for Google correct. Help! Shouted a voice, and Claudia looked up to see Paul dangling from a crane. We got a little danger.
Okay, cool. Let's see.
So for those unfamiliar with right now, these stories tend to get a little wacky just because we're having fun with them. So at some point, this is going to take a left turn. They just do. Paul's hard hat slipped from his head and splatted into the cement. Is hard hat one word or two words?
I don't know. I can make it two
Hard,
words.
no, let's. It's hard hat, one word or two. The writer in me has to know this. A hard hat is a hat made from a hard material. It looks like it's a hard hat is and I'm not really getting an answer. I think it's two words, but it didn't correct you. It just left it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting. Maybe it's optional. Either or.
Maybe it's a dialect thing. Speaking of dialects, where are you from?
I'm from Australia originally. I live in Los Angeles now, and I've lived here for about 28 years. But yeah, I grew up in Australia. So
that's kind of interesting how you could be in a place for so long, but the accent can still.
Yeah, a lot of people say that. They're like, I can't believe you still got your accent after so long. And
you're like, I don't know. I just talk, and it's that way.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. When I first moved here, I did sort of, make a promise to myself, like I'm never going to lose my accent, because I knew a couple of other Australians who also had lived in, here in the States for a while, and they had kind of, they spoke with a sort of quasi American / Australian accent, and I was like, that's never going to happen to me. I'm going to keep my Australian accent forever. So it happened. I still have it.
You absorbed it into your soul. It was never going away.
Exactly.
Claudia.
Okay, now what's happening? Realizing time was of the essence. Claudia bypassed.
What are those things called? Elevator at a construction site.
All right. Construction elevator? I don't know.
You know what? I'm just going to write. Claudia bypassed the elevator and decided to scale the scaffolding like Spider-Man. We're just going to go right there.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why, but because I thought that would be cool.
Okay.
So I wonder if I'm going to get a letter from Marvel for using Spider-Man.
I won't tell if you don't.
I would be honored. I would frame it. If it was an email, I would print it out and frame it. If Marvel got mad at me for using Spider-Man's name in my free web show.
Okay. Decided to scale the scaffolding like Spider-Man. Let's see.
How could she do that, though? Is she a normal person? Right. Or does she just work out a lot? Or... We still have we've got all plot here, all action.
Right.
We don't know anything about what's happening. We'll get there. We got time. The question is, who is going to bring in the steamroller? It's getting used at some point. It's going to get used. I cannot end this episode without using a steamroller. Even if the last sentence is just them all getting run over by a random steamroller, It's gonna happen. She couldn't worry about revealing her secret identity. You got me thinking about all of like classic movie scenes with steamrollers now. She couldn't worry about revealing her secret identity. Paul's oh, we're getting superhero action. Paul's grip on the cable was loosening. Okay, so cable, we use cable as the construction element.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn this comma into a semicolon, I think.
Nice. Yeah.
Semicolon would work better there.
Thank you.
I never use semicolons, but they're helpful in this show because
until now.
Well, in this show, you need to extend sentences. You have to find like little
right
in the semicolon.
Right.
So yeah, you've got me thinking of now great movie scenes with steamrollers. I'm thinking of Austin Powers.
Yes.
And Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
Oh yeah.
That's another classic.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
What did Christopher Lloyd's character say after he gets run over?
I can't remember.
Oh my God, he's a tune. And then he gets that classic laugh. I love that movie. But anyway, Claudia bypassed the elevator and decided to scale the scaffolding like Spider-Man. She couldn't worry about revealing her secret identity. Paul's grip on the cable was loosening. Okay. All right. I'm going to do one more action, and then hopefully we can get to figure out who she is and what she's doing there. Paul's grip on the cable was loosening. I have to find a way to get the construction element in here. You know what? I'm just going to write the sentence.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I know what I'm going to do. Okay. Suddenly, Paul's hand slipped out of his work glove. So work glove, yeah.
Nice.
So work glove is the construction element. Hand slipped out of the work glove, and he began plummeting, causing Claudia, this is going to be a good visual, to dive off of the scaffolding, catch Paul in midair, and twist her body to land safely in the cement. That's pretty badass.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so I figure now that the action is over, we can have some conversation and figure out what the hell is going on.
Okay.
You don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. I've had guests like spit in every single idea that I have, just out of spite, which is fine. That's what the show is for.
Okay. Okay. Let me see here.
So they gotta maybe get out of the cement because I don't think they should hang around.
Yeah. Okay. So
do they have a steamroller in the Flintstones movie?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I haven't seen this Flintstones movie since it came out in the 90s.
I should. I need to watch that again. I'm enjoying watching all these old shows with my kids.
Right.
A lot of fun.
I see. Yeah, my kids are sound like they're a little bit older than your kids. Mine are. My son's in his second year of college, and a bit.
My oldest is 11.
Oh, right. That's a cool age.
I'm sorry, I'm distracting you.
It's fine.
You know what the problem with this show is that writers write in silence. You
right. They don't talk while they're writing.
It's a very boring show to see two people quietly.
No, it's really interesting. That's why I wanted to, when you explained the concept to me, I was like, oh, that actually sounds kind of fun. It's like improv.
Yeah.
You're writing it
different. You can write and ignore me and I'll just ramble and just nod your head.
All right. Well, I'll try and come up with the next sentence and
at some point I have to cut the show off because otherwise we would just talk and write and never get anything. We would never finish the story. So let's see where we're going with this. What the hell are you doing here, Paul? All right. Well, there should be you there.
Claudia.
Claudia said you got to get some construction elements. Could. All right, so we got to get a construction element in there because we don't want to.
Cement's not a good enough construction element.
No, it is, but we don't want to use the same one twice.
Okay.
I'm making up rules as I go.
All right, I'll try something else.
No, let's brainstorm this together. What the hell are you doing, Paul? Claudia said, wiping the cement off of her shirt. I think her shirt can be maybe a work shirt.
How about this? How about off of her safety vest?
Nice. That's why when people ask what it's like, I'm like, it's more like a game show with no points. It's a game show with no points. I just have rules and make you do things without any rules.
It's a game show with you going,
Pretty much. That's the game show. Me telling people they're doing things wrong.
Yeah, the guest is like, survey says, and you're like, try again.
It's Family Feud with no answers. It's just me saying everything you do is wrong.
Right.
What the hell are you doing here, Ball? Claudia said, wiping the cement off her safety vest as best she could. All right, let's see here. Now I got to actually figure it out. So what the hell are you doing here, Paul? So what was Paul doing there? I know she looked around and saw none of her usual crew. So I'm trying to get a little continuity going here. So Claudia showed up to the construction site and immediately put on her hard hat. She looked around and saw none of her usual crew. And so if she's surprised that Paul is there, that implies that Paul is not part of her usual crew.
Or it's his rostered day off or
something.
He's on a different shift.
Yeah.
Something like that.
They changed the schedule at the last minute. He said, I'm going to cheat. I'm just going to go shaking the cement off of his safety glasses. That's what you get.
It's okay when you do it.
When you
I can't do it.
You play the game with the best.
Right. He who has the gold makes the rules.
Kinda. Safety vest, safety glasses. This is the most construction-oriented, most safety-oriented construction crew in history. OSHA would be very proud.
Okay.
I wrote safely glasses.
All right, let's see.
So Claudia's got some secret going on. She's
right.
But something's up because where's everybody else? It's just her and Paul.
Right.
Wait a sec. Oh no, okay. So when it said she looked around and saw none of her usual crew, I was thinking the place was empty, but it doesn't. It just means that none of her usual people are there. So it could be that the place is completely empty and it's just her and Paul, or there could be a lot of people, in which case they would probably start gathering around like, Paul just fell. Oh my God.
Right.
So we're kind of writing ourselves into a corner here with a lot of this action.
Well, let's see.
So when you're not signed into Google and you use Google Docs, it gives you a name, like anonymous, and then an animal. You have.
That's what I was signed in.
Well, I don't know. Maybe for some reason it doesn't work, but you've had the coolest name so far. It's Anonymous Wolverine.
Nice. That's cool. All right.
I'm sorry, distracting you again. We got to figure out what's going on.
Okay. Okay. Well,
you know what? I'm gonna try something. Can I make this bigger? I can. I want to make it easier for people that are. There we go. That's so that all the folks at home can follow along.
Oh, very good.
A dozen episodes in, I never thought to actually make the screen bigger. Just learn something new every day. Claudia's mind raced as fast as a jackhammer. Nice. Was her cover blown? Great. That, you know what that is? That's the classic superhero narrator talking.
Right.
You know, you don't see stuff like that in modern superhero stories.
True.
That omniscient narrator.
Yeah.
Next time on Adventures of Steamroller Man.
But you do in Steamroller Man. I do have an omniscient narrator.
That's your vibe. That's your lane.
Yes,
so it fits.
Yep.
Let's see here. Chloe's mind raced as fast as a jackhammer. Was her cover blown? All right. Oh, I keep screwing up. Oops. I don't want to say oops because that's like a sentence by itself. I didn't see the schedule change. Oh, I didn't see the schedule change, she murmured while looking around and noticing the various construction workers, from the foreman all the way down to the lowly laborer, approaching her in awe of what they just witnessed. This is a pretty long sentence, but I think I did a lot here. So I established that there's a whole bunch of people there, right? And they saw Claudia's amazing feat, and now she's kind of in a jam.
Does that conflict with she saw none of her usual crew at the beginning?
No, because I think what we were talking about was she saw none of her usual crew, meaning none of her usual, the people that she works with. The place is still filled with workers, but it's not her co-workers. You know, it's like people from a different shift.
Right. Okay.
So that's how I'm approaching it. And we could, you know what? We could actually edit this. She looked around, and although the site was packed,
oh, nice,
saw none of her usual crew.
That's good. That's good.
That adds a little bit more clarity.
Okay.
So do you have a have you chronicled the origins of Steamroller Man?
No, there's no there's no origin story. I haven't done an origin story yet.
Do you have one in your mind?
I do. I've actually got, I mean, I know where he's from and how he came to be, but you know, until you commit it to paper, everything's changeable, right? So I've actually got a couple of ideas because Steamroller Man is a superhero kind of parody. I've thought that his origin could be a steamroller or construction themed version of a bunch of, you know,
Superman
established, exactly, or Batman or whatever. And I had an idea of maybe I could do an issue where it's just a series of one-page stories, a lot like the Hostess cupcakes ads from, you know, Marvel Comics of the 1970s, where each page told a different origin story of
I like
Steamroller
that.
Man.
That's like the famous Joker line. His origin is multiple choice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, I
Exactly.
like it. I like
Because
it.
people have asked me, same as you just did, like, well, what's his origin? How's he come
Well,
by his powers? And
you know what? You know, it's kind of strange if you think he was born like that, because that would be a very painful birthing process.
yes, right, yeah,
So it's,
yeah. So you know, it's just a matter of, you know, finding the time to do it, because you know I'm a one man operation. I'm writing and drawing the whole thing myself, and so that's in the idea file, and hopefully I'll live long enough to get to that idea. Because as I said, comics take so long to make. So
what's up with Claudia here?
okay,
With growing dread,
here we go.
Claudia realized. What did she realize?
Each worker was brandishing
Cell phone, his wife, I guess. A tool. Oh, a tool.
Wrenches, hammers, and pieces of rebar were
pieces of rebar
being.
I did not expect them to
Pounded.
I did not think this would turn into a mob.
Threateningly into palms as they closed in on her.
With growing dread, Claudia realized that each worker was brandishing a tool. Wrenches, hammers, and pieces of rebar were being pounded threateningly into palms as they closed in on her. Why do I keep doing that? All right.
Just gonna have to F these guys up.
I love how she just, I mean, that wouldn't be my first reaction, because she saved the guy and their first reaction is to, yeah. That's such like a, like you said, 60s Batman kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, it is.
What are you doing here, see?
Yeah, I didn't even realize it is.
I always knew you were some kind of freak, shouted Gary, the you know what? I'm gonna do it. You ready? I'm gonna do it. The steamroller operator.
That's great.
You know, I'm not gonna do it. No.
Not do it.
No, because it has to be an actual steamroller. The excavator operator. You know, it needs to be an actual steamroller. That's
What do you mean? Doesn't that imply that he has a steamroller?
No, I have to. It just says that he drives the steamroller. We got to actually get a steamroller into the story somehow.
Okay.
I built up the hype too much. You know, I can't just sneak it in there. It's got to have a big reveal.
Okay.
I always knew you're some kind of freak, shouted Gary, the excavator operator. I said I'm going to try to do construction vehicles, and I finally got one in there.
Okay. All right.
Is she gonna have to mess them up? That would be funny if she just was like, screw it, and then just she was so worried about her secret identity and just decided to abandon it.
Okay.
I love how you have a very particular style with Steamroller Man, that cheesy superhero vibe, and you're bringing it full force into the story.
Hey, I love that stuff. Okay.
Well, you know, that stuff, there's something wholesome and innocent about it. You know, superheroes nowadays, they're so grim and dark, and they need to be meaningful and powerful stories, but they can be cheesy and fun too.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's, creating Steamroller Man was sort of my reaction to superhero comics getting so serious.
You can say the Snyderverse. There's nothing.
Right. Well, it wasn't just that. It's just like there seemed to be a general trend. Even before that was the Christopher Nolan films of like, yeah, but what if it was real? Let's do it realistic kind of superheroes. And it's like, well, if you're gonna be realistic, then Batman's identity would be exposed by the FBI.
How realistic can you?
How real are you gonna get? Like, you don't get to have it halfway. If you're gonna do a guy dressing up as a bat to fight crime, that's an escapist idea in itself. So why not just lean into that?
Some of the best comics that I've read have come from Ahoy Comics. They put out some really great.
Oh, yes, I love Ahoy.
Are you familiar with The Wrong Earth?
Yes, I love The Wrong Earth.
That's what I'm thinking of, and I was blown away by it. I read.
It's fantastic.
It's a lot of fun. For those who don't know, The Wrong Earth, basically what it is you take a campy 60s Batman and you take a dark modern Batman and you swap them into each other's universes.
Yeah,
that's basically what it is.
It's such a clever idea, and
it's original characters, so it's not Batman.
Yeah,
obviously, but it's a lot of fun.
The great thing about that is how perfectly Tom Payer, the writer, captures that tone of the 60s Batman show in the universe that is clearly based on the 60s Batman show. He captures that tone perfectly. I just love it.
He has to thread a very specific needle between the two, and he manages to do it.
Definitely.
It can't be too camp, because then it wouldn't work with the other one, and it can't be dark. It has to.
Yeah.
So he managed to do it.
Definitely. Yeah, it's great. I can't get enough of The Wrong Earth. Like, I actually reached out to Tom Payer on Twitter to ask him, like, when are you doing more Wrong Earth? Because the last series ended on a cliffhanger, but there was no announcement of when the next thing was coming. And he said, "Oh, don't worry, I'm working on it now. There's going to be 2 series coming up in the next year." So
I edited my last sentence a little bit. So I took out Gary.
Oh, okay.
Because now we don't have to worry about him anymore. I figure when you name a character, you're kind of beholden to them a little bit. You can't forget about them.
Okay. So, all right, great. Then I just figured out what I'm going to do.
Claudia was attacked by a steamroller driver.
Yeah.
From behind her, Claudia heard the ominous sound of a steamroller. There we go.
Oh, can I just edit?
Sure, go for it. From behind her, Claudia heard the ominous, uniquely distinctive sound.
Or maybe just distinctive sound. The ominous distinctive sound.
Yeah, that will work.
Oh, for God's sake, all these typos. Distinctive. There we go. Got it.
So right now we're going to do the 3 for 3 that I was talking about earlier. We're going to start winding down the story. We're almost at the 45-minute mark. So
oh, wow. Okay.
So I'm going to do same thing. We're just going to have 3 sentences each. So the entire
sweet.
So the entire story is going to have 6 sentences total left, and we can start winding this down and giving it some sort of conclusion.
Oh, so it's 3. You do 3, and I do 3, and that's the end.
Kind of, yeah, but we're still alternating. So I do 1, you do 1, I do 1, you do 1, I do 1.
Oh, but we have to end it in 6 sentences.
We got to wind.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
I think six sentences is enough.
Yeah, no worries.
So we got, from behind her, Claudia heard the ominous, distinctive sound of a steamroller starting up. She'd been hiding her identity so long behind the persona of a beautiful yet
Rugged.
beautiful yet rugged. What's the goose? So we got jackhammer up guy. We got a excavator guy.
What about a welder?
Done. A persona of a beautiful yet rugged welder. She's been hiding her identity so long behind the persona of a beautiful yet rugged welder that losing that anonymity would break break her, but with a knowing nod from, what was the dude's name? Paul? Yeah,
the guy she saved.
From Paul, grateful of what she did for him. I'm gonna reread this afterwards to see if it even makes sense.
This is the longest sentence in the thing so far.
Grateful of what she did for him, Claudia readied her fists to brawl. All right, let's see if this actually makes sense. From behind her, Claudia heard the ominous, distinctive sound of a steamroller starting up. She'd been hiding her identity so long behind the persona of a beautiful yet rugged welder. You don't need this, comma. Behind a persona of a beautiful yet rugged welder that losing that anonymity would break her. But with a knowing nod from Paul, grateful of what she did for him, Claudia readied her fists to brawl. Okay, I put knowing nod as a hint that Paul knew who she was all along.
Okay.
But we don't even have to address that. I kind of just did that as a little Easter egg.
All right.
So that's one. I got two left.
Okay. So now it's my turn, right?
It's your turn.
Okay.
You get to. We started with action and we ended with action. I say we start a new paragraph here.
Okay. Thank you. Construction
worker. Do we have any superheroes that have a secret identity as a construction worker?
That is a good question. I can't think of any offhand.
I'm thinking of the Wrecking Crew from Marvel.
Yeah.
They're like a construction themed villain group. Her eyes glowed bright like blue flame as her fists heated up. Is that her superhero name too? The Welder. Because her fists like twin blow torches. Perfect. Her eyes glowed bright like blue flame as her fists heated up like twin blow torches. Ugh. All right. Now we each have two left. She charged forward, swinging her arms and melting every makeshift weapon she came across from. I want to make sure you use different. You wrote hammers and wrenches, didn't you?
Hammers, wrenches, and pieces of rebar.
All right, so now I got to do something different. Makeshift weapons she came across, from nail guns.
Nice.
To chains and even a leveler, because why not? Every makeshift weapon, not weapons, she came across, from nail guns to chains and even a leveler. I got one sentence left, and you have two.
Okay.
This is kind of such a ridiculous story when you think about it. She shows up to work, the schedule changed, she saved a guy, and then decided to beat up her I guess coworkers that turned into a sudden mob. The steamroller's cold cylinder.
Yeah.
Steel cylinder. I guess we'll call that the part of the steamroller. It works. I count it. Here. What does he say? Judges say this is good.
Yay.
The steamroller's cold steel cylinder bore down on her with terrifying sluggishness as she turned to face it for the final do or die confrontation. This is common there for the final. Yeah, let's put it there. Do or die confrontation. All right. I'm trying to think of what to do as my construction elements. I know what I want her to do. Because I know I want her to blow up the steamroller.
Right.
But what happens afterwards? Screw it. I know what I'm going to do. This is going to be a cheap one, but if I do, Claudia screamed and punched the slow moving vehicle of death, shattering it into a million pieces that rained down onto the right here's the cheap part, the office trailer.
Nice.
All right, wrap it up.
Okay.
Bring it on home, Matt.
Okay. Okay.
The white hot shrapnel. I love it. Shrapnel doesn't get used enough as a word. We need to see that word.
The white hot shrapnel.
Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. We're almost done. I'm eager to write my favorite part of every story. I kind of just want to write it now. The white hot shrapnel landed in a pool of, I don't know why I want to say a gasoline. There you go. White shrapnel landed in a pool of gasoline. Igniting a chain reaction of explosions that destroyed the entire city block. That's wild. That's quite an ending.
Everybody died.
Everybody died. I don't want it. Can I add another sentence?
Yeah, do one last sentence. Yeah.
I don't want to end it on that. But I gotta. You know, we were just talking about how superhero stories can't be dark, twisted. You're just like, kill everybody. Wait. All right. This is how we're going to end it in typical superhero stuff. Fear not, dear reader.
Oh, nice.
For Claudia emerged from the flames unharmed while carrying Paul in her arms like a little baby. Why not?
That's great.
The end.
I love it.
Thank you, Matt, for an awesome time.
Hey, thank you. That was really fun.
So for those who happen to chime in halfway through the episode, let us know what Steamroller Man is about and how long it's going for.
So Steamroller Man is my superhero comedy comic book. It's both a parody and a loving homage to superheroes of the Bronze Age, mainly. Very influenced by things like The Tick and Batman 66, the 60s Batman TV show. It's a 30-day Kickstarter campaign that started yesterday, so it will be running until June the 6th. It's already reached its goal, so I'm going to be introducing some stretch goals very soon. So yeah, I would love people to discover Steamroller Man because it's fun.
It's just talking about it is fun because it's one of those concepts that just it has a lot it could go with, you know.
Yeah.
So
it's admittedly wacky. I don't and it's unapologetically wacky.
Yeah, so things that are like that, they don't lend an air of, they don't have to follow the certain rules that other stories have. Like I was thinking of,
right.
Have you seen Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Yeah. Love it.
I didn't see it originally, but I saw it, I don't know, a couple months ago. And I would call the movie plot hole proof because it's so ridiculous that it's like, if there's a plot hole in it, it's like, yeah, we put that on purpose. That's the point. It's
right.
And so when you lean that much into absurdity, you make your own rules, which is
exactly cool. That's why I've resisted tying everything down with an origin. And people ask me like, oh, what are his powers? And I deliberately keep that ambiguous too, because once I define it, then it's like, well, now I got to stick to it.
It sounds like continuity is your enemy.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I'm not deliberately contradicting anything I've already set down. I'm just trying to
keep it ambiguous.
Keep it ambiguous for as long as I possibly can, because I don't want to write myself into a corner, you know?
Well, you know what? Continuity can mean many different things. You can have storyline continuity, like plots, like Sugar Daddy can show up and reference something that happened in the past, like a history.
Right.
But as far as characterization and skill set, power set, and stuff like that, you could just be like, whatever. Man, I make the rules as I go.
Kind of do. I mean, I have been making it up as I go. I don't work from a full script. I just work from an outline, so I know where I want the story to end, and I know the story beats. But also because it's a comedy book, I'm always thinking of new jokes as I'm doing each page. So the story sort of zigs and zags, and I'm, always thinking like, well, I know I got to get it to here, but I think I'm going to add a couple of pages to just do this just to do this joke kind of thing. So yeah, it's always like morphing and changing as I'm going.
So tell everybody in the cyberspace where they can follow you and find you and all that fun stuff.
So my website is steamrollerman.com, which you can actually read everything I've done for free at steamrollerman.com. And I've done 2 full issues. I've done a mini comic Ash Can, and I'm halfway through the 3rd issue at the moment. So that's steamrollerman.com, and all of my social media links are at linktree/steamrollerman. So I've got a YouTube channel, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, Twitter, I'm on all those other Twitter alternatives like Mastodon and Hive and Blue Sky and all that sort of stuff.
It never ends.
I really wish Twitter hadn't been bought by Elon Musk, because it was so much easier when I was just like, you got Facebook, you got Twitter, you got Instagram. That's it. That's all I have to worry about. Now there's like more than double that number of social media sites.
And let people know what your MySpace URL is.
I don't
and your Friendster.
I don't have those.
Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I had a fun time if you watched, and thank you, Matt, for stopping by.
Thank you, Frank. It was great to meet you, and really fun to do this. This was a great improv exercise, and I think the story turned out pretty good.
It was a good time. We always try to wrap it up.
Cool.
I just left by accident. I don't know how that happened.
I wasn't sure what had happened.
No, I don't know. I just kind of dropped out. But anyway, just time to play the outro. Bye-bye.
All right. I'll see ya.